Hey everybody, shopsketchcraft.com. What can I say about shopsketchcraft.com? Well, I can say this. I can say, if you're someone named, I don't know, Brandon, if you're someone named Brandon and you wanted to get some artwork from this show to help support coffee, where would you go, Brandon?
Hey, that's my name. And I would go to shopsketchcraft.com.
Amazing. It's amazing. And you would go there to get
SketchCraft stuff at your shop.
And guess what? Sometimes I don't have any stuff in the store. That's how great the store is. Sometimes there's no stuff. And you go, well, then Brandon, then you go, hey, I went to go get stuff at shopsketchcraft.com. Shopsketchcraft.com. And there wasn't any stuff there. Then what do? Do you know what
I demand more stuff in the shop.
And where do you demand it?
At shopsketchcraft.com.
Or in the comments below this video. You demand it right there. And you give me a thumbs up. And that will encourage me to put more stuff into the store at shopsketchcraft.com. Sounds like a good idea, right, Brandon?
Heck yes.
All right, let's get on with the show. Technical difficulties, folks. This is so hilarious. I'm gonna keep it. It's playing the intro and the end at the same time. Isn't that great?
That's how we do it. It's the remix.
This is horrible.
Yeah, just in case people don't think we don't do it live, we do it live.
And I already restarted the stream once, so
it's like a bad piano battle.
Well, the intro is going lower, and the exit is going higher to boot us off.
Yes.
And so what's going to be amazing is when it's time to actually end the show. When it's time to end the show,
it's just going to be a percussion battle.
There will be no music because it can't restart until I shut everything down and do it again. This is the best. You know, I've been doing this how many years?
10 years?
8 years of podcast now. You know that? 8 years.
I think I've been on it with you for about 5 or 6?
Maybe 4. No, 2014, 15, around there? 3.
A little more than that. No, because it's been since I was married. And I'm going on like 5 years. Or I'm at 5 years. Or right about the time I got married. One of the two.
Jesus, what a horrible way to start the show, huh? I figure while we're at it, why don't we just plug shopsketchcraft.com again?
Well, while I'm waiting for the show to start, I'm on shopsketchcraft.com right now.
Is there actually anything there to buy? I forget. I sell so few things, you know.
Yeah, sometimes it's like a really good yard sale, but I made it there really late.
Yeah, it's like that's the allegory for my life. Certainly my career. I'm getting it started awfully late in the program here, folks. Right at the tail end of it. Oh my goodness. So like I said in the last episode of SketchCraft, the weekly podcast, I say weekly in the loosest sense of the term. Like, I plan to talk weekly unless I just can't, you know? So then we move on to the next week. So last week, I had to drive up to Seattle to hang out with Mike. Remember Mike? He's been on the show.
Yep.
Mike, friend of the show.
Cool guy.
He's been on a few times. He's a supporter too. He's a backer. He buys stuff from shopsketchcraft.com. And he's also supported one of the Kickstarters and bought this printer right over here in the back room for me about a year ago. My other one broke on the stream. And so him and his longtime girlfriend finally got married. Him and Mara. So
congrats.
Me and the wife drove to Seattle. I got to hang out with my buddy Ty, who, you know, weirdly, now that I think about it, just thought about it, Brandon. Ty, the first time I did podcast, Ty was on with me.
Oh, wow.
Before it was a SketchCraft podcast, I called it Coffee Con Carnage.
Oh, man. And you
know why I did that? You know why I did
Why?
that? Because I wanted a name I knew I would never want to keep. See what I mean? So I didn't know
Yeah.
what to call it at the time. It was before I even conjured up SketchCraft. And I was like, hey, I'll just call it this because I certainly plan on changing it. So, but Ty and I, what we were doing was we were spending 4 hours on the phone talking about games and stuff. And I'm like, may as well just record this shit, right? Like, no harm, no foul. So I had him on for the first 3 episodes, and then I got SketchCraft.com put together and changed it to SketchCraft, and here we are.
Now you have me.
So
Yay!
I was over at his place, and we watched the IT Crowd again. If you ever seen the IT Crowd?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we watched all of those in order and got real drunk. I had a lot of Moscow Mules. You ever have one of those, Brandon?
No.
It's like
So
a
like gasoline.
no, it's ginger beer and I think Bacardi or vodka, probably vodka, and like lime. It's really nice. Put like in a copper cup, and it's got a little kick to it. It's kind of like alcoholic Sprite.
If it doesn't have Mountain Dew in it, I don't drink it.
That's true. That's true. You certainly don't put it in your body unless it's got Mountain Dew in it, right?
Correct. Correct.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm
So,
I'm doing a 5K tomorrow, and I
mm.
should probably fill my water backpack up with Mountain Dew. That way, I can keep going strong.
Sketch strong.
Yeah.
Mountain
Uh,
Dew strong. Uh,
There's a
so,
reason we're doing the podcast tonight because I may not make it tomorrow. This might be my last one.
Brandon, I just find that your veiled threats of early death are just getting old around here. All you do is keep threatening to die on me, and you don't do it. So,
I
then,
know. I'm too lazy. I'm
I
too
can
lazy to do it.
I can imagine the bleeding cool headline now. Sketchcraft says he tells his host he should die.
Right.
I was like, well,
You know.
I'm just saying, get on with it. Like otherwise, find something else to talk about.
Fine.
Well, the good thing about all that Mountain Dew is eventually it's gonna live up to its promise. So, anyone in the chat room? Anyone sit through that fucking monstrosity of an intro? No?
Yeah, we got a yeah, no, we do. We got a couple of people in here.
Whew.
Uh,
I'm sorry. People are like, "Is he drawing?" And I'm like, "Well, I do draw, just not right now." So
all right.
here's the thing. So we went on we went vacation. I mean, in the loosest sense. So here's some advice, folks. When you do take a vacation, do yourself a favor. Only plan on doing like 3 things, and commit yourself to doing 1 or 2 of those, so you can enjoy the rest of your time not doing a whole fucking lot. Because I really hate when I go on vacation and like people just expect you to run around like you're not on vacation. Does
Right.
that make any sense? Like you got to go
Yep.
here, see this and that. So I had my wife and we went and saw the market, the big fishery tourist spot. I planned on that, and we planned on doing something else. I can't remember. Some other fucking thing, and then hanging out with my buddy. So that's all we planned on doing, and it was nice. Slept in a lot. Saw the wedding. That was a good time. I got my copy of Mario Maker back from Mike, which was awesome. And so we come back, and my floor in the kitchen had to get repaired. So, long story short, my refrigerator decided to urinate water all over the floor when I was at E3 3 months ago, and we just now got the floor repaired because of insurance and paperwork. Um, so I haven't been able to stream all week because the noise has been incredibly loud.
Yes.
Like I couldn't even talk to you when they were working. So I'm like,
No.
it's too loud. It's way too loud. So they're done now, and so we can get on with it. And then I've been working on secret stuff for clients, so I can't talk about that too much. And I'm almost done with the first review for Game Cave, the final version of it. So hope to be done with the second review next week. It's all getting done. It's just like anything else. I just run it all up into the point where it has to be done. So now that I got almost all the reviews in, I can do my version of it. It's really weird. It involves like taking 2 separate reviews and then stringing them together so there's a coherent narrative on some level, and
Hmm.
then shifting each side of that narrative into like a positive negative. Like one person likes it, one person hates it, or is skeptical. It depends on the game. And then flipping those into the characters' voices. and trying not to write too many jokes so you can still get something out of it. Does that make sense? Like
Yeah.
you can write too many snarky comments and try to make it fun, and it just gets annoying to read. So it took about, I don't know, only 4 fucking years to figure out how to do that. So
That's it.
yay! And then working on Mega Visions, and oh my goodness, so much stuff, so much stuff. You put down Rob working on Spyro. I'm done with Spyro stuff. What was that?
That was 2 weeks ago. I don't know.
You should delete the old topic,
Maybe
Brandon,
3 weeks ago.
that we already talked about, so we don't have to go over the same thing over and over again. Right? Sounds like a good idea. Write it down.
Probably.
Go
Probably.
delete old topics from document.
Okay, got it.
You actually gonna remember to do that, because the last time I asked you to write something down, I told you to write down real-time 3D modeling, and you didn't do that on the Game Cave development. And
I did write it down.
No, but you didn't put it in there. You just put Briar Bay. And so then Hector goes on there, because Hector, friend of the show, went on there, and I say this as I use him to throw you under the bus. He goes on there and says, where's the voices? What's going on? And I'm like, I told Brandon to write down real-time 3D modeling. So then I had to go and text you in the middle of the night to fix it. Remember that?
Agree to disagree.
That's exactly what happened.
Right. I put development on the thumbnail, and then I put real time, Briar Bay.
I said in the title. The title.
Yeah, for me, the title is the thumbnail title.
I really, from now on, let's do this. Let's have a little fun here. So, moving forward at Casa de Sketchcraft, when I give you the instructions to write something down, I want you to not only to write it down, but I want you to photograph that with your phone and send it over to me. Okay?
I'll send you.
Yeah, and I'm going to start a little potato file. The potato files. And we can go through, the tater notes. We can write down what you actually, and then I could share the photos so everyone can see.
Yeah.
And we could try to even read your whatever your etch a sketch handwriting. So can't wait. Can't wait. It's gonna be fun.
Yes.
So what have you been up to the last couple of weeks, Brandon? What's been going on with you?
Learning new things. Can I talk about the new things or not yet?
You can talk about the pixel stuff.
Okay. Just learning some new skills such as pixel art and how that all works and how that gets done, which is, I used to think it was a lot easier than it is, but to do something right, like any art form, it takes time, practice, and you got to really put effort into it. Yeah. People think like, oh, pixel art, that's simple shit. Like, it's really not once you understand that there's a lot of weight to things. And when I say weight, I mean how many pixels per side, per hand, per an eye, to add that shading, that depth, that movement that you don't think like, oh, yeah, it's not into it. But you got to really sit there and count. So when I'm making something, like I'm modeling the Jolly Dagger right now, which I got to go back and change again because you just gave me new colors to use. But you have to really
slow down. You're talking.
Sorry,
at a million.
I had a lot of
miles. Oh, jeez, you got to breathe, Brandon. Yeah. Look, we got all the time in the world, and I try to stress, Brandon. We got to teach you to talk slower. Okay. Talk a little slower. Jesus. Man, what the?
Basically,
hold on.
My
it's like
first
the fries are boiling in the fryer.
Pixel
right?
art.
When you first take the fries and you put them in the boiler and it's like that. So what you are working on right now, you're working on a few things, but what we're talking right now is you are pixelizing a sketch I did of the Jolly Dagger, which is the ship that Bombcat flies, a delivery vehicle in Game Cave. Correct?
Correct.
So we got to be careful you don't say you're modeling, because that sounds like you're modeling the ship.
I mean, I am a model.
You're making a pixel version of a piece of concept art I did for Game Cave.
Correct.
Right.
And one thing that, I learned right away is that with pixel art, it's not just randomly drawing things. You have to count out certain amount of pixels you use per side and per things to give it a certain weight and actual feel to it. So you have to, let's say if you're doing like the right side of an arm, you'll go like 2 pixels, and then you'll go down, you'll do 3 pixels. And then if I want to go back to the other weight, I go 2 pixels again. So it just has this kind of consistency that you need to keep throughout your pieces, so it doesn't just look like you threw random pixels all over the place, to make it actually look good. So a lot of the pixel artists that people see on Instagram and Twitter that are really good and they make stuff for video games, they understand this. They know how to make ships with heavy weight when it's only pixel art.
And all you shit talkers out there just take it for granted, right?
Right. It's not, when people are like, oh, I do pixel art, I thought, oh, okay, that's probably easy, until now I'm doing it and I'm sitting there like, oh my goodness, this is taking me forever.
Yeah, so, we should write a book, from shit talker to creator. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, shit maker, shit talker to making, yeah. It takes effort.
Yeah, and I'm not going to post anything yet, and eventually we will when it's there. But it's definitely like any art form. It takes effort, time, practice, and patience. And if you're doing it right, headache is what I've gotten. So I know I'm on the right path, because I've gotten frustrated, deleted, restarted, and such. So
and such as so
such as pleasing Rob.
It's the headache part I love, right? Yes. Like, when you're doing something for the first time, you just get that wash of like, it's this weird feeling of like pressure on the front of your face.
Mm-hmm.
And then like I know me, I take my middle finger and my thumb, and I'll go from my temples into my eyeballs and just like squish, like to the center of my nose,
The other night when I was redoing the Charlie Dagger, the next morning my left eye kept hurting. And I told Jessica, my wife, to look at my eye, and I got a blood blister in my left eye from just sitting here staring at the screen, zooming out.
It had nothing to do with the 18 hours of Madden you played in the last 2 weeks.
Never.
It's the pixels.
It's the pixels.
It's kind of like, the first time you exercise, you're like, look, I got cancer. You're like, it must be the exercise. Like, no, no, that's not it. I can see how... Yes, it is the new thing in your life. That's true, but
yes, that's the only thing that's changed. So it's got to be it.
I stopped drinking Mountain. Yeah, I stopped drinking Mountain Dew, and then I got diabetes. Huh?
Right. Thanks, Armando. Armando says, "Nice, Brandon. I hope your pixel art goes somewhere." Thanks. Unless you mean that as a backhanded compliment, like, since my other art didn't go anywhere.
Brandon's doing things because I tell him to.
Yes.
So there's other things Brandon's doing that I tell him to do, but we can't talk about right now, because I've learned the value of not talking about things until they're ready.
Right.
To go, the distance. So.
And I'm at the point where, I'm not old, but I'm not young. I'm 33, and I'm at the point where shut up. I know that I am not gonna be like a Marvel headlining artist or get a book published at like Image. So my only shots at a lot of art stuff will be through Rob helping me and me helping Rob. So if that means that I can't be a quarterback of my own art and I have to be a team player, that's fine, because Rob's pretty good at being a captain and / dictator. So I think that there's no point for me to fight things now. It's kind of like as I used to, maybe 6-7 years ago. Now it's like, okay, Rob tells me, hey, you're going to try this now. And I go, okay. And I just do it, like changing my name.
Brandon, if you were the one who knew everything, you'd be the dictator.
Yes. I'd be the dictators.
Dictators. That's your character's name. Dictators.
Yes. He just needs a little hat. Just need my hat and everything.
It's not go there.
Okay.
But yeah. Well, it's like everything else. We're just converting this whole enterprise here over to something it hasn't been. It just takes effort.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of effort. A lot of effort that no one cares about.
Right.
It's enough effort to get us some maybe 90 views on YouTube. It's 90 views worth of effort. Let's see what else we got here. What else we got? All right, Brandon, pick a topic. Let's talk about.
Okay, I'll talk about what I did today. Yay! So, IMAX, the IMAX movie theaters they recently have been putting out the all the Marvel movies that have happened over the last 10 years, and it's the Marvel 10th studio, their movies, everything. So what they're doing is they're putting out all the 2D and 3D versions of all the basically from the start of Iron Man 1 to Infinity War, and they're replaying them.
Mm-hmm.
So I own, I think, almost all the movies, but I saw last night, or I think it was last night, yeah, that they were playing Avengers in 3D today. So I told my wife, I was like, hey, let's skip work early and let's go see Avengers in 3D again. She was down for it because it's only like $7 on matinee and cheap. But so we went to see Avengers, the first one, in 3D today in IMAX, and it was so cool seeing it again. One, holds up really well. The 3D in that movie, when that was probably the first 3D movie I really, really liked that I can remember, that I was like, wow, the depth of everything. And just did like, knowing what you know now, it's like, it's like a little time machine watching it. You're seeing all these things that Marvel has kept in consistency with all their movies. So it's like when they say little things or they show characters or certain people in the movie, it's like, wow, they still have that guy or this scene or that little Easter egg in Avengers Infinity War. So it was just kind of cool to go, one, rewatch it in IMAX 3D, big, loud, everything. And two, it was just a cool nostalgia thing, even though it's only been, 7 years since it came out? I think 7, 8 years ago, if that. Yeah, so, okay, so yeah, just 6 years ago. But it felt like forever ago because they've put out so many movies. So it was nice. I mean, I can't afford or have the time to go see anything else, and I can't think of any other ones that I want to go see again. But rewatching that first Avengers was really cool. I liked it. Even though I knew what was going to happen, it still felt like the first time watching it, kind of. It was just like, wow, this is cool. Oh, I didn't remember that part. I didn't remember that joke. So I really like that, and I think that's cool. They're doing it, whether it's just for the fans or for money or whatever. It's just cool to be able to go see that again in an IMAX 3D. So
yeah, about a month and a half before Infinity War came out, I just went through all the films with my wife because I knew she wouldn't remember any of the stuff when we get there. So I actually I own them all, and I own all the ones in 3D that are available in 3D because I get them from Amazon.com UK.
nice.
I had to go to Amazon UK to get all my 3D Blu-rays. People go, 3D's dead. I'm like, not in Europe. So that's where I go and get all my shit. And I have a Blu-ray player that's what do you call it? It's region free.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I just got Black Panther in 3D, and then I pre-ordered Infinity War, Solo, and Incredibles 2. So those
That's gonna be good.
Yeah, I got the nice 3D I even got Lego Batman in 3D. Huh? Pretty awesome.
Oh, nice.
So and what's nice is you can control the quality of the 3D. It's really based on brightness, so you can control that at your house because you don't, you're not a cheap bastard like these fucking movie theaters. But the IMAX, at least I know they generally run the right amount of brightness, so the movies are dark because they have to be double bright, two times the looms as the normal movies. Yeah, Avengers really holds up. You know what movie really was better than I remember it being when I saw it?
What?
Was Age of Ultron.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because I worked on the shirts for that, and then
I remember.
yeah, and then when the movie came out, I was like, well, I don't know, like really felt to me like Ultron probably should have started in Iron Man 3 and carried through the films in a way.
Yeah.
I still feel that way, but to quote Joe Rogan, but that Hulkbuster sequence is a work of art, bro. Like I still watch it in awe. Like, how do you even plan that shit out? Let alone have the jokes, let alone get all those plates together, and the fact that sequence sets up the Black Panther film and Infinity War. Like, you know what I mean? Like that fight carries on through to today in the movies. Like what happened, the events of that moment. So I was really, really impressed with how that actually fared better than I remembered it. So the movie,
I get you on that.
Yeah, the movie that just I used to defend Iron Man 2 a little bit. I'm like, yeah, it's got Sam Rockwell in it, and it's just not a good movie. It's like it wasn't
right. Yeah, they had Iron Man 3 in 3D playing tonight or tomorrow night.
That's a better movie than you remember. I think that gets an unfair shake.
And I thought about seeing that one just because to see all the Iron Man suits in 3D, because I don't think we saw that one in 3D. But I thought, that might be a cool one to see. Just why not? But yeah, it's things that happen. I forgot too, like the Avengers movie where like Loki and he's coming to Earth for Thanos and all the little subplot to that. I forgot a lot of that
That
because
was
we've
the
had
entire
so
point
many.
of the first Avengers film.
Right. I mean, like I forgot like the whole he already got the Tesseract, and because in my mind I'm like, oh yeah, Thanos just went to Earth and got the Tesseract, or he went here to get it. It was so long ago that I just stopped thinking about it. It's not like I forgot, like, oh, that happened. It's just I wasn't thinking about, oh yeah, he had the Infinity Cube and everything and all that. There's a lot of stuff I was just like, oh yeah, because there's been so many movies since then. Like,
Did
I
you
don't know
write it
what,
down?
10? Write down what?
What happened? Like with Loki? Because if you wrote it down, you'd remember, right?
So I could send you a picture.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
Yeah,
Of
you should
course
write down what happened right now when we're done with this and send it over to. I
Mm.
want to see if you remember.
I'll send you a nice drawing.
Tater thoughts, you know. M
Yes.
Loki hungry, you know, like Mountain Dew, butter, whatever, you know.
Yeah, but 3D held up really well on that, and that, you know, for something that old to hold up, it was pretty good. And that kind of leads me to another topic of mine, which I'm going to go right into: Modern Warfare 2.
Why
Okay,
are we talking about Warfare 2?
because it is now backwards compatible from your Xbox 360 to your Xbox One and One X. Now, Modern Warfare 2, I care, was the best and my favorite first-person shooter. This game was amazing, and so it's now $15 on Xbox Store. I bought it, and it holds up so well. The playability, the way everything's set up. Of course, there's a lot of lighting and graphic stuff that is a little outdated, but it's pretty damn good. That holds up for that long ago, and I love it. So that's a bit of nostalgia. If you were a big fan of Modern Warfare 2 like I was, it's out there to buy right now. You could play it online, and if you want, if you go right now, Rob, you can do this too.
Oh no.
You can go on Twitch and you can watch me play Modern Warfare 2 at Mega Potato Show on Twitch, and you'll see my excitement and how happy I am, like a kid on Christmas.
On Christmas or at Christmas? During Christmas?
What is the phrase? I don't know. I didn't have
like a turd in the wind.
Yeah, just I didn't have Christmas, so whichever one it is.
Are we doing that? Are we doing who's got the worst life poker game?
No,
you show me a poor Christmas, I show you a child abandonment on Christmas, right? Yeah, then you show me, you know,
hey,
picture of you with no shirt on.
Dreadstar and Chris, hopefully I say this right, Dibburn says, "Hey Rob," in the chat room.
Hey, what's up?
And Brain Gamer, Crusher, and Armando, and Luke Lawrence. So
Modern Warfare 2. I just don't.
That's
the one where you got the gun and you point it.
Right? Correct.
Wow.
Correct. That is the one. You narrowed
They don't make a lot of those, Brandon.
No, they don't. They narrowed it down.
No, not since, not before, not during. They just
when I said
rare
it,
games.
I didn't think you would know, but you nailed it. That's the one.
Wow! Thank goodness that is backwards compatible.
Speaking of going back, Rob, did you hear that the X-Men Dark Phoenix movie are doing reshoots?
Well, we've known about that since the movie was supposed to come out last summer.
Yeah, and now they're doing more reshoots that I guess they're posting pictures like, hey, we're back on set reshooting. How bad do you think this movie's going to be?
Did you see Apocalypse?
It was horrible. It was horrendous.
The guy who wrote that is writing and directing this. So there you go.
Oh, my goodness.
Look, I went and saw with Kyle. He went with me at the film school in LA to go see X-Men Apocalypse. And there was a Q&A with Simon Kinberg. You can listen to it at the Q&A with Jeff Goldsmith. Write that down, Brandon. We need to get a link. Brandon's going to put a link to that exact one.
You
can listen to that Q&A and listen to him defend some nonsense in that film.
Q&A what? Who?
With Jeff Goldsmith. I'll get you the info after the cast. But yeah, so Simon Kinberg, you know. Look, I want to like Simon. Seems like a nice guy. Seemed to have, you know, a bit of turnaround with helping out on Days of Future Past, but a lot of people contributed to the writing of Days of Future Past. Matter of fact, Days of Future Past was originally scripted by Jane Goldman. Jane Goldman.
She did Hitman, right? Or not Hitman, Kick-Ass.
X-Men First Class. She did
Kick ass.
Kick Ass. You know, she did the one with Tim Burton. That's kind of like X-Men. The
Oh, the Precarious
yeah, it's
Kids
actually a good movie, man.
something.
Yeah,
I liked
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. So she's doing something else. I can't remember next, but looking forward to it. Simon Kinberg, man, just I don't, I don't, I just don't, I don't believe in this. I need to get rid of it. I'm done with the Singerverse. To me, the Singerverse is done with Logan, and I consider the Deadpool stuff sort of like outside of continuity. Like they're just in their own Deadpool universe where everything sort of exists. The 80s, the 90s, and all the movies exist simultaneously. You know, it's satire in a way. It doesn't
Right.
really, it's not continuity. Uh, the fact that we still got to sit through this fucking film, man, like I'm just not excited about it. You know, in a way that like when I say not excited about it, I'm like, can we just get it over with? Don't reshoot anything. Just put it out there. Let's just get it, just release it.
Right.
Let's move on. You know, remember when they delayed Batman v Superman for a year? How'd that go?
Wonderfully. It was such a acclaimed
Whole
hit.
year, yeah. It really made the film better. Like
Yeah.
anytime they do reshoots or pickups or anything else, and they want to improve a film, I'm for it. You know, like at least you want to fix. You know, give it a shot. But I'm just done with this universe where no one ages across 30 years. You know, the movie starts in the
Yeah.
60s, and then by the 90s, they've aged maybe 10 years. But is it supposed, if it's in the 90s, then what are we, 8 years before the first X-Men film? And what are they? They're gonna turn into, they're gonna turn into Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen, and you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, so they don't. They're in their own continuity, but they're not. I'm just done with it. I really, what I want more than anything is for the Russo brothers to get the opportunity to reboot the X-Men for
Hmm.
Marvel Studios proper. You know, once the whole Disney Fox deal goes through, that's what I want.
Right.
And people could tell me, but Rob, they're gonna make less movies. I don't care. I don't care. Make less movies. Perfect. You know, everyone's telling me there's too many movies being made right now at comic books, so no, they'll make less. Wonderful.
Right.
Certainly don't make these non-plus movies. They delayed Dark Phoenix and the New Mutants like a year. You know,
Yeah.
so let's just say I don't care. You know,
This will
reshoot
be the last X-Men movie though until Marvel takes over, right? This is like the last one
if we're
they get to
lucky.
make.
Depends on when the New Mutants comes out.
Well, I meant like, I mean, not. I'm talking like main X-Men. Like the next one will be from Marvel.
You know, never say never because they could always crank some shit out at the last second, right? It's possible.
Probably. It's possible. That's true. It's
Look how
yeah.
fast that Venom movie got made.
Oh, jeez.
Mm. Shouldn't that
Like a
get delayed a year?
turd in the wind.
Turd in the turd in the wind. You know?
That's the worst thing I've ever heard in my life. I think.
You didn't see
That's
Catwoman or
yeah.
Batman
Okay,
and Robin.
Catwoman's horrible,
How
but
about Batman and
I meant
Robin?
I meant it just I don't know how you go people can watch that trailer and be like, oh, I'm so excited. Like
Because they love the
that's fine.
character. They're excited to see a version, you know, a visual version of. It's just they're excited. They're excited.
Yeah. I
You
take
know.
that back. Okay, I got excited when that new Turtles
Oh,
came out because of nostalgia, and I love Ninja Turtles so much. But then
the heck you say?
Logic set in, and I never watched it again. So
Logic set in. Were you there for the podcast where you and I talked about that?
yeah, you love
Set in.
something so much, you'll defend it till the end.
Not after the Matrix sequels. I learned my lesson.
Yeah, those were.
I learned my lesson. I was that guy defending. They got a plan. They don't have a plan. They don't have a plan. They don't know what they're doing. These are horrible. Um, the thing about the Venom trailer, man, is it just. I said this in the last cast, and I'm saying it again, dude. Like, it just looks. It looks so 2003. I'm
Yeah.
just waiting for that Evanescence song from Daredevil to pop in. You
Hmm.
know the what was that one?
I can't even.
You can do it. Come
Yeah,
on, come on, sing
I
it.
don't even know the words.
Sing it, Taters. Sing.
Like it's wake me up inside.
Is that should be your alarm
Oh goodness,
for the next
that's
week
it.
until you memorize all the lyrics? Yeah, or let the bodies hit the floor. Remember that one?
Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the.
Right.
Yeah. Hmm.
Or they could have gone. Remember System of a Down? The
Hmm.
it could just cut all that weird footage. Like I could
Yes.
just it just really has that vibe to it. So I'm expecting no more than a 2003 level of a film. And if I was y'all you, that's the amount of expectations you should expect.
Yeah. I thought they would have went low budget, gritty, kind of like the first Deadpool was a little bit, but it doesn't look that way. It looks like a lot of CGI and bright shots. Well, bright lit shots. So,
Even McFarlane jumped in and clowned the movie a little bit, you know? It's always a good sign.
right.
And I remember watching that. Some people were like, "What does he know?" And I'm like, "Well, he kind of invented the character, but all right, you know." I mean,
Right.
he's not on Instagram every day photographing himself with all the Venom toys like some other image guy we knew.
Who would do that?
Well, I don't know, Brandon. Who would do that? You know?
Probably some artist or celebrity that I would piss off.
Hmm. Jim Chung?
Yeah,
What?
that's it.
Grant Morrison?
No.
The Outlaw Con guys? Remember those guys? Who was that guy we
Could.
invited on the cast and he chickened out on us?
Oh, it was the guy swiping art out of Miami, I think, or something like that. The
Hey,
guy.
write this down, Brandon, and photograph it to me that you wrote it down. Okay, ready for this?
Hold on.
Find out what that guy's up to.
Find out
Uh-huh.
what art thief is up to.
And for the people that are new, explain what we're talking about here.
Okay, well, it's been so long. There was this guy swiping comic book art and selling it for like hundreds and thousands of dollars, and then he would just have like his girlfriend pose with a paintbrush or
When you
whatnot.
say hundreds, you mean hundreds of dollars and thousands, not hundreds of thousands, correct?
Both?
He didn't sell anything for $100,000. Let's not make this
No.
any more hyperbolic than we need to. Okay.
No.
So he was selling
Uh,
swiped art for thousands of dollars, hundreds of
yeah,
dollars at a minimum. Okay, go ahead.
yeah, comic book art, like clearly comic book art from famous artists and stuff. And I believe did I call him out on it?
Yep.
And he attacked us, and I was like, all right. And then we're like, if you want to defend yourself, come on the podcast. You could promote yourself if you like, and we could talk about it. And he chickened out at the last minute. We had everything set up, Skype, all that.
Yeah.
So he knew what he was doing. I mean, he would literally take like I can't think of the issue, but the number wise, but Captain America, the one where he dies and he's laying there on his back with the shield on his stomach and he's dead. He would take that and put like a little bit of graffiti lines over certain spots, or put like a Nike symbol on Captain America's
It's
shield,
a big difference.
or all that dumb stuff that people do nowadays where they'll put like Supreme on Silver Surfer or some dumb shit and then try to sell it on their own.
But
So,
remember, wasn't he getting a really cute girl to pose with the art like she drew it?
yeah, it was his
Wasn't that
girlfriend or
it was his
something. Yeah.
girlfriend? Yeah.
And he would say it was hers. He would just stand there with a paintbrush and he'd say, oh, that's hers. Like, dude, come on.
This is where it's like people go, well, Rob, I gotta get exposure. And I'm like, first off, start with talent, you know, like draw your own fucking art, you know,
Right.
and two, don't be a dick when people call you out for swiping shit. You know,
Yeah.
like he was getting mad at everyone else for calling him out for being the thief. I'm like, real? You got nothing better to do than to call out people who are stealing art? No, I got nothing better to do, man. Like, you had nothing better to do than dig up people's art to steal. What kind of fucking
Right.
upside down world do you think we live in? You know, like, I'm not a smart man, Brandon, but I do understand basic logic. You know,
Right.
I live in an unfortunate reality where my mother, before she went batshit crazy, made me do logic problems when I was a kid. When I say a kid, I mean in preschool, in kindergarten, in the first and second grade. She started me on logic puzzles. You ever see these? They're like they have like a square in the center, and there's like
Right.
names or situations to the left and to the top of it, and they give you a paragraph, and you have to read it, and you mark X's and O's to kind of you use the problem that's read to you, and then you have to like figure out by order of logic what is accurate and what isn't accurate until you basically discover. It's kind of like, you know, a Sherlock Holmes puzzle. And so
Right.
my mother would never let me do crosswords. She would never let me do those, they jumble up the letters and you got to circle like every other fucking kindergartner does. Like she made me do this shit, you know? So it's like like when I hear some bullshit story, I'm like that logic is not sound. Like,
No.
you know. Yeah, I missed that guy. Find out what he's been up to. Because as they say in good old fashioned wrestling, I like to work the leg. You know what I mean? Like the he said, you know when they got to drag a match out for 15 minutes because something
Right.
canceled or some guy got injured, they have to sit there and just keep working that guy's leg and drag out a
Yeah,
match.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, that's how I do it. All right, what else we got to talk about here, Brandon? We're at the 40-minute mark.
yeah.
Is that it?
Are you talking about?
Fantastic Four comic reboot. What's that?
Yeah, they rebooted, and I have not read it. Which I was thinking maybe we can read it and talk about it next week. Is they
Definitely.
rebooted the Fantastic Four comic,
Hmm.
and they did a whole like
So did they
everybody.
did they bring back the Hulk, Ghost Rider, Spider-Man, and Wolverine for?
Not the good one, not the good
Oh,
Fantastic Four. No, no, they brought back the original guys. The Mr. Fantastic, Sue Storm, all that. So it's neat to see that they're back. It's weird that they're back now because I think Marvel just relaunched their world months
again?
ago or half a year ago. Yeah.
Didn't they just
So
do
it's
that?
like, yeah. And it's so, I don't read enough comic books to know what's all going on, but it's just, I
Oh,
just
there's
saw that
some
the
stuff
Fantastic,
going on, Brandon. Like,
yeah, there's lots of
there's
stuff
some
going
stuff, and
on.
I'm about to stick my foot in a piranha pool,
Uh
going there. But I sort of here's the thing, guys. I'm gonna say I've saved this to the last of the cast because if you're gonna say anything, you may as well just bury it in a podcast somewhere. But
There you
but
go.
I gotta say something because it's driving me a little. It's giving. I'm dreaming about this, so I'm like, well, I guess I gotta say something. Let me preface whatever I'm gonna say right now. You guys gotta know, like, I have lost my entire career for posting fan art, or doing Kickstarters or just having like general freelance. I've lost a lot of work in business relationships simply because I've put some prints up on a Kickstarter once. It's
Yeah,
it's it's a
I was there.
situation that was 5 years ago. It's a situation that haunts my career to this day. Just because I put up a Kickstarter, I didn't do anything wrong. I just put it up, and they're like, "You can't do that." And I'm like, "Okay," took it down, and then they're like, "We heard you did that," and now I can't get any work. You know, so I've had to reinvent my entire career. You know, and so anytime I'm like, I want to get into a controversial subject, when people ask me, "What do you think about copyright?" I just stay out of it. I'm like, "You should go ask a lawyer. I don't care." You know.
Right.
But this Comicsgate thing, like, it bugs the shit out of me, bro. And let me explain to you why. Okay. If you want to know my political leanings as of today, I think this country and the entire free world needs non-profit universal basic healthcare. That's what I think. I've just watched too many friends. I got a friend now, Joe, friend of the show, had him on many times. He's 37 years old. He got a rare disease. He's almost 400 pounds. He can't walk. He looks horrible. He owes $1 million in medical bills. He's never gonna pay that back. He's never
No.
gonna be able to. He just had a kid. It's gonna haunt him. It's gonna haunt his kid. His wife's gonna be stuck with this stuff. Should he pass away? I hope not. If he can survive all
Right.
this. And so, like, there are basic human needs out in the world that I believe are necessary for life and the pursuit of happiness. The fact that this has bled into creators attacking creators drives me up the fucking wall, because it all starts with the fact that um, this is a multi-pronged situation. But you're like, Rob, are you for Comicsgate or against it? I'm against the current Comicsgate regime, whatever they are, and let me explain to you why. At the top of the list of running that fucking group is a guy named Mike S. Miller. Now, Mike S. Miller, this is no secret. Type in Mike S. Miller Angry Monkey into Google, and you're going to learn about something. So I met Mike S. Miller in 2003-ish when I worked at Kinko's, because
Hmm.
Mike did a pinup in Savage Dragon. And I look at the names and memorize them. And when he came in, I was looking at, he had his art up on one of those computers you can rent out. I'm like, hey, I saw the name, I'm like, you're Mike Miller. Mike S. Miller, right? I think it was Mike Miller. And he was,
Hmm.
yeah. And I'm like, you did that Savage Dragon pinup. He was like, hey, you remember that? He was shocked. I'm like, yeah, that's what I do, you know.
Right.
I memorize
I remember
really
everything.
weird shit, you know. And I can't memorize our anniversary here at Casa de SketchCraft, and believe me, I pay for it. But Mike was a really nice guy. At the time, he was prepping work on his GI Joe Transformers uh, team up that they were doing at Devil's Due, between that and DreamWorks. And so he was showing me all the stuff, and I said, hey, would it be cool if I colored some of those, maybe as a sample, you know, trying to get some work? And he's like, yeah, sure. And he gave me some high res art, and I attempted coloring at home and failed miserably and never bothered him again. But I thought he was really nice. And a year later, he started a company called Alias. Now, Alias published a book called Lullabies,
Hmm.
Lions, Tigers, and Bears, and the Imaginaries. I think Sean Galloway drew the first issue of the Imaginaries. Um, and Lions and Tigers and Bears was Jack Lawrence, who I was a big fan of at the time because of his DeviantArt account. And then Lullaby was this, I didn't want to say French or Spanish artist. I can't remember his manga. Super awesome art. Super manga-ish, like kind of like One Piece, really detailed, you know, and skulls and pirates and stuff. And they were all great books. And I was like, these guys are awesome. And then the scandal hit. It turned out Mike Miller, uh, who really likes to tout around his religion, was going up onto these boards under a pseudonym called Angry Monkey, and
Oh no.
he was going around talking about uh, the gay community, and it's going to kill them early, and it's bad for their spiritual this and that.
Ugh.
And someone figured out, you know, because I was on the board Shanglines, the sketch board sessions, and this was a big topic at the time, and DeviantArt was a big topic in the message boards. And someone figured out that that angry monkey was probably Mike S. Miller. I can't remember how they did it. And so they confronted him.
Mm.
And the guy was like, the angry monkey's like, no, I'm not him. I just found his art. He's a pretty cool dude. Well, it turns out it was him, you know.
It
And then
was
he
that.
eventually admitted it. He's like, yeah, that was me. But, you know, and then unfortunately, because it's so weird, dude. So then they dragged Jack Lawrence into this, you know. And he's like, I was just trying to earn a living. He never once said any, you know, anti-gay things to me. So I don't know. I'm just trying to earn a living. I don't really want to get involved in all this. Rightfully so.
Right.
Um, and 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 now here we are at Comicsgate where they're like comics for everybody, you know. But I'm like, are they? Or are they just? Or is this is all crazy? Because the guy has an integrity issue, you know,
Hmm.
a serious integrity issue, and he's partnered up with Ethan Van Sciver, who over the last 6 years I've been hearing nothing but rumors that he likes to harass people under pseudonyms on Facebook.
Ugh.
And no one's really been able to prove it. It gets all real esoteric. Like when you get into the conversations, it becomes he said, she said, he said, she said, and you just
Hmm.
it's like hearing a divorced couple argue. You're like, well, I want none of that. You know, like I just want to go live my life. But but here we are. So I got a guy. We got a guy who I know who proven for a fact loves to say stuff when he's under a different name. You know, and
Right.
and and then you got his cohort. You know, who's like probably doing that 50-50, maybe 51-49, you
Right.
know. And then, you know, it comes down to their excuses. Well, you know, we think the quality in comics have dipped because Marvel has a SJW agenda, or DC and Marvel have an SJW agenda. And
Oh jeez.
you do realize Marvel's ran by Perlmutter, who's like best friends with Trump. Like it's not a SJW company. It's a company bereft of original ideas. Absolutely. You know, and if you want my opinion, the reason why I've been working in t-shirts since 2005, Marvel shirts, and like I've seen that company chase trends because they
Huh.
base every book on whether it sells 20 or 30,000 a month.
Mhm.
So the minute it dips, they cancel the book, which means they're constantly chasing sales. Now, how can you guarantee 50,000, 30,000 copies a month when Spider-Man the PS4 is coming out next week? No one's buying comics. You understand what
Right.
I mean? Like, no one. And then all these kids in the last 10 years have gotten themselves into, maybe student loan debts. They get less money. Maybe they're spending all their money on Fortnite outfits. Fuck, I know.
Right.
A lot more things to buy. Um, I have a solution for this, by the way. But I don't trust these people's integrity. Whatever they say, they can go, well, I'm Asian. I can't be a racist, and we got people of color and women on board. I'm like, great. So you're not racist. You're just people who lack integrity. I don't.
Right.
The people I see now promoting their comics aren't the people. How do I know you don't have 6 other Twitter accounts under fake names and you're just shitstorming people? How do I know? They go, so you for the other guys? I'm for the other. I'm for creators. You know, this is why I don't work for Marvel DC because like kind of believed in the image revolution, which was creators should be paid when
Right.
their works sell. Why should John Peters, okay, the producer John Peters, make tens of millions of dollars from Man of Steel when he didn't do anything on it, but the family of the creators get nothing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, seems wrong to me. And so in the last 10 years, remember, there's a few things. So in the last 10 years, we've had the Marvel movies, right? You just said you went and saw all
Right.
these ones, the IMAX. So the people who watch the Marvel movies, they leave. They grow up with these Marvel movies. They go buy the comics. They want to see, hey, what comic, speaks to me? I'm a 12-year-old, and all these comics are being written for 40-year-old dudes. Remember the
Yeah.
Hulk ripping people in half?
Oh yeah.
Remember remember, was it Brand New Day with the Mephisto Spider-Man
Yeah.
thing?
Yes.
That was a
Yep.
great storyline, right?
No.
Okay, did SJWs cause that storyline? Remember
No.
for like a year, Marvel was doing that thing where they all became vampires because Twilight
Yeah.
and then they all became monkeys. What was that? I don't remember. They all became apes. They all got turned into gorillas and
Yeah.
shit.
Atlas and all that. Yeah.
You understand? Like, they're chasing trends, people. They're not creating quality stories because they're trying to sell individual books. And the only way to get around that I can figure, and I have been preaching this to people who work at Marvel and DC and independent publishers for 3 years now. I thought about it a lot. The only way is Marvel and DC they're in a unique position. One is owned by Disney, one is owned by Time Warner. And the one that's owned, and so they actually don't need the books to sell anything
Right.
because it costs so little to produce those books when they're making billions of dollars on the Marvel movies or billions of dollars, hundreds of millions on even fucking the merchandise for Batman. The Batman merch alone, dude, it's crazy.
Right.
So these books, in a way, I believe, should be subsidized by the movies and streaming services so that all the artists, all the writers, all the inkers each get a flat rate. They all get the same and they do well. And they just go to create the next, it's like a development deal where they go and create the next great stories that will then be used for future movies and TV shows and everything else.
Yeah.
And
Makes
then
sense.
and then you give them bonuses based on trade sales or something like that. Put all the individual floppies up for fucking free on a streaming service or something, which DC's now doing, but I've been saying that for years. So it's like that's how you get around this because they're in a unique position to do that, which means it frees up a lot of the bullshit money that they would have spent on buying 16 covers for fucking some stupid Logan story, and they could spend that on the indie comics, the Image comics. They could spend it on other comics because they're still going
Yeah.
to take their fucking money and buy the trades. They're going to take the money and go see the movies. They're going to take the money and buy merch. So it's like there's other ways to think about this, but these two companies don't take any form of leadership, and they never have. I heard the other day my friend was telling me this is a quality issue, Rob. This is about quality. I'm like, where were you in the '90s when the fucking Clone Saga came out?
Right.
Quality. Let's go back to the '80s. When I was a kid, the first X-Men story I ever read was the Reavers. Remember those guys? They were the ones that were in the
Yeah.
Logan movie. They were in Australia.
Yeah.
I remember going to a comic shop and just a guy was just fucking complaining to no end about this isn't the X-Men he knows and this has gone stupid and it's dark and boring and doesn't make any sense. You know? I think 30 and 40-year-old dudes at comic book shops just bitch a lot. Like,
Yes.
I was going in to buy Turtles. I started reading the Turtles in about 87, 86 around there. The original black and white version.
Mm-hmm.
So I've always been in to get a comic book that resembled my friends and the things I liked. I had to go to the indies. I like Muppets and Ninjas. The Ninja Turtles were like, it's a fucking Muppet Ninja. I can't believe this, And then when they
Right.
made the movie and they got the Muppets guys
Yeah.
to do the movie, I was so happy. But I get real bummed out, dude, depressed to some extent when I see creators attacking creators because the creators aren't creators don't hire the creators. Editors and producers and directors hire artists. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
If these companies, Marvel produced a manga line years ago, and now Marvel used to publish Epic Comics was a label for independent stuff, and they published Akira, which is in color. They never finished it, but it was the first time I found computer coloring. Steve
Mm-hmm.
Olive colored it. Blew my mind. I love color. And so this company easily could have found any manga writer they wanted to, don't you think?
Yeah.
Instead, they had one of their internal guys pretend to be a Japanese guy. And
Oh,
he's
jeez.
editor-in-chief now. He's the
Uh,
editor-in-chief at Marvel. Like, that's what you're dealing with. You're dealing with companies that want to spend the least amount of money. They're only going to hire their friends. And they're chasing after whatever trend they think is going to get them back to the glory days of whenever that was. When in the 80s, it was the glory days of the 60s and 70s. In the 90s, it was, oh, here's the great one. Books sold the most in the early 90s. They were selling millions of copies, but they said it was because the books sucked that they were selling. You go figure that one out. Now
right.
they're saying that the books aren't selling because they suck. Which is it? See, I'm at this point. I turned 40, man, and like I've been aware of life since I was like 6. When my parents got divorced, I had to grow up very fast. So I got 34 years of awareness, real awareness, Brandon. And like things are repeating for me in life. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, I've seen this before. Oh, I know this argument. That didn't hold up the last 3 times I saw that. You know?
Yeah.
So it just bums me out that artists are got some kind of civil war going on Twitter, you know, and that they feel the need to, you know, hey, here's another argument I don't like from people. I don't like when people bug J. Scott Campbell about how he can draw women. You know what I mean? I'm not for the art fucking police, man. You know, just like when fucking dudes harass that book Faith, when Megan Hetrick was drawing Faith, people were harassing about Faith because she's an overweight superhero. So, you know, what do you care? I used to read Harbingers. It was one of the best fucking T books ever. Did you ever read Harbingers?
Uh,
Over at Valiant? It was all
mm,
about the rejects that got superpowers before heroes and those kinds of things were around. Harbingers, read that first miniseries from Valiant. It was amazing. So it's just like, this is just dumb. And I see, well, at the head of this group on the right is this guy that I know fucking lies. You know, like,
mm,
pretends to be other people so he doesn't get the shit stuck on him, you know? And I know for a fact Ethan Van Cyber had to apologize last year for telling someone to go murder themselves. So I'm not a big fucking fan of him either. You know?
right.
I'm just not. But I'm not going to go on Twitter and just, I don't have the energy to fucking keep this up, Brandon. You know? You've been hearing it from me for 24 hours and you're tired of it, right? Like, you just feel it's like vampire energy sucks the fucking life out of you.
Yes.
But I have a problem with bullies, you know?
Yeah.
And I think people that have been marginalized for a long time are tired of sort of quietly taking it, and so then they react in stupid ways, like photographing their fucking anus. So stupid. He's that Robert Rodriguez sent a picture of his butthole. Like, what are you trying to do there? What are you fucking? What do you got a coke? What do you got a coke habit or something? What the fuck is wrong with you? But he was the one who was attacking J. Scott Campbell for how he draws women. Hey, can we just? Here's the thing. I like the Kevin Smith philosophy on stuff. If you don't like something, just fucking ignore it. Seriously,
Right.
especially when it comes to like when it's real fucking like life altering issues, vote. Okay, that's what you can do.
Right.
That's what I do. You guys, no one in the world can change my mind on shit. I'm gonna go vote. You can be mad at me all you want, trying to tell me how I'm wrong, but I guarantee you, man, come fucking November, I'm gonna be down there voting, bro. You know,
Right.
that's how Rob works. And if it gets real bad, I'll fucking run for local office, bro. Like that's how I operate. Okay, but this whole like because they're making money on Indiegogo, the comics gay guys, and they're like, "But look how much money we're making! Look how much money we're making! We have to be right." I'm like, "Money validates, Brandon. That's the problem."
Oh yeah.
You ever seen a real rich asshole make a lot of money, but he's been doing wrong? You ever hear of a guy like that?
Oh,
You ever hear of a guy who's been doing wrong for I don't know 50 years and just gets constantly fails upward? You know what I
yes.
mean? You ever hear of stories like that?
Yeah, once or twice.
You know? Huh. I love that Christians tell me that making money is a sign of being correct when their whole religion's based on not having any money and doing the spiritual right thing in the world. But fucking whatever. I just don't want these loonies running my fucking life. You know what I mean?
All
And
right.
when I say loony, I mean anyone who believes in any fucking thing that is going to govern how I live my life. I just don't. I need the Constitution between me and the crazies of the world, bro. That's why I signed up to the military to defend it. Period. I didn't want to join the military, but I was like, well, gotta fucking join the military because one, I need access to healthcare when I get older, and we don't have it in this country, And two, because I believe in the Constitution. It's the only buffer between us and the real fucked up people, you know. So I put my money where my mouth is, folks. And I'm not on the side of Confiscate. I'm also not on the side of anyone on the other side that wants to go around telling people how to fucking draw or sending pictures of their assholes. Seriously, dude. Find some fucking better thing to do. You know, here's what we all need to do, Brandon. If we're going to fucking love superheroes and superhero movies and superhero comics, and we're going to draw superheroes, perhaps we should all start embodying the ideals of of said superheroes.
Right.
Like that's how I grew up. What kept me out of trouble was I actually believed in the bullshit Batman was spewing. Like
Right.
I didn't use guns. I believed in doing the right thing. You know what I mean? And sometimes that means getting your ass beat for the right fucking thing. You know, like Raphael took a beating, you know, to like save his brothers
Right.
and shit. You know, like I just believed in the ideals of Superman, Batman, the Ninja Turtles. You know, I didn't use those as a way to sort of warp myself into like some weird narcissistic ego trip where
Yeah.
I'm the hero of every fucking story. You know, like that to me is like that's like the heels in pro wrestling. Like that's like the $1 million man. That's a you don't want to be that. You know what I mean? Look, that's a great job to have, but that's not a real person. That's a fucking cartoon. You know, like don't be Lex Luthor. Who wants to be that? Like really?
Right.
Hmm. So, did I make any sense, Brandon?
Sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah. Don't worry.
No, it's just, you know, me and you, we've been somewhat frenemies for so long because we know bullshit. We don't like people who bullshit. We're very honest people. We don't fuck with people. We keep to our own, and we do pretty much right for most people. And there's just a lot of shitty people out there, and
I
you got
don't
to just
like
try to
bullies,
be better.
Brandon, and I don't like
Right.
bullies who side on some fake moral high ground that I know they're not actually upholding.
Right.
You know, I
Hmm.
don't deal well with fucking posers. You know,
Yes.
I
Yes.
don't. So and they go, well, they haven't done anything to you. It's called integrity, motherfucker. You know, like you want to talk about like that's one of the first army soldier code, integrity. That
Right.
you, when no one's looking, what are you doing? Are you gonna do 150 push-ups when drill sergeant walks away, or are you gonna do 90? Close enough.
Right. Right.
You know, but all these guys want to, they love to talk like they're in the military, they're fucking superheroes, or they, you know, oh, you got to have this, and it's about persevering that. I don't believe it, you know? I just, guys, you know, look, you know why I have a big frown on my face? Because I do the right thing, and it's fucking sucks, you know? There's not a lot of fame in doing the right thing, you know? See why the
Right.
potato's so happy? Because Brandon's always fucking around.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, in the funnest, loosest sense of the word, but one thing I can guarantee you all, folks, not in the history of me being on the internet, have I ever, my entire life, since 1989 when I was on Prodigy, have I ever, Prodigy or CompuServe, I can't remember, but have I ever gone online and started shit talking people, pretending to be
Right.
someone else, you know, fucking harassing people? It's never happened because I used to get the shit kicked out of me in school just for being alive, dude. You know, like just for being alive. Like I
Right.
had a brown father. They didn't like it. I was in a real redneck town. My father, you know, was Hispanic and or Guamanian, whatever. He wasn't. He was his parents were, but he was brown. I was white, and I lived in a racist town, and they fucking hated him, and I got the shit kicked out of me every fucking day for it. You
Yeah.
know, so it's like I just don't deal well with this stuff. But you know, man, like if you want to side with it, folks, if you want to side, understand this. Do you trust the people running that movement? Do you trust them with your careers? You know, like because what's going to happen is at some point, especially if they're financially successful, they're going to fuck up. They're going to
Right.
say some shit and reveal who they really are because that's what people do when they feel they're winning. They reveal who they really are, you know? And then because you associated with them, guess what? You're fucked. You're going to be
Yep.
guilty by association, man.
Oh yeah.
That's why I associate with you. You got nothing going on, right? Like, you know,
Oh,
not a fucking thing. You know, like as hard as I try to get something out of you, I just can't fucking do. I can't even get you to write shit down.
no.
You know, All right, so and do me a favor, Brandon. Don't fucking write this episode 2 Comics Gate because I don't need the fucking trouble. I don't need YouTube flagging me.
It's not called. It's just going to be called
episode 2.
Episode 2. That's it. Just like the last one, which
Let's
is
reiterate.
episode 1.
I don't care for the Comics Gate guys. I don't really care for Mike S. Miller, and I really don't give a shit about fucking Ethan Van Sciver. I don't know any of the other people. Can't speak to them. Okay. Number 2. I don't agree with people like Robbie Rodriguez fucking in his anus bullshit and attacking people for how they draw women. I'm just not getting into that fucking argument,
Right.
So I'm not for that either. 5, Brandon needs to fucking photograph when he writes shit down. Because I don't believe he actually writes anything down. I think he's lying. Yeah, I think it's like that picture.
I had so many, like I cleaned off my desk the other day, and I had so many random notes from you. I write it all down.
Does it look like Kaiser Sose's like wall of like?
It's just like it looks like when you see like the conspiracy theorists where it's like the wall and there's like a string attached to another string to another string to another string. That's what it is. That's what it's like.
And 6, Dragon Quest XI has shipped. It's on its way. I don't know when we'll be doing another podcast because on Friday nights I'm going to be playing Dragon Quest XI. You know how long I've been waiting for this? You know how long, Brandon?
So long.
So much so long. And what breaks my heart is there is an actress. She was in Stray Dogs, which is an old Kurosawa. She used to be in a lot of Kurosawa films. That's the first film I remember from Stray Dogs. She was a huge Dragon Quest fan. And when Dragon Quest X came out, it was a Wii MMO. She hated it. She was like, I can't believe this is the last Dragon Quest game I'm ever going to get to play. She was just like, it's bullshit. She was cursing, and she passed away. And she never got to play this single. They're saying it's the greatest Dragon Quest game ever made, and probably the best JRPG made in 10 years, because we all know The Witcher 3 is probably the best RPG made in the last ever. So, but yeah, I really can't wait. So there you go. That's what we got going on there. Anyone else have any questions or anything to add to the conversation, Brandon, before we head out of here?
No.
See, they all bail.
Armando said a lot of stuff.
Armando said a lot of stuff.
But it's
a lot of nonsense.
It's nonsense, but it's good stuff. It's all over the place. And
well, folks, you don't have to agree with me. You can just go vote with your dollars. That's how it works. That's how it works around here. All right, everybody.
If anything, people, be informed.
Or don't be informed. Live your life uninformed. You know what I mean? There's a way. Look, Brent, it's all of it's possible.
Don't see the Matrix. Don't see the Matrix.
You know when they tell you failure is not an option? It's completely an option. People fail intentionally all the fucking time. I don't. Literally, all I know is I can sleep at night because I know I did the right fucking thing.
There you
go. That's it. That's all I know. So you guys continue to do the wrong things. See if it helps with life, See if things get better, and we'll see you on the next SketchCraft podcast. Let's see if I can get this going.
And feel free to follow me on Twitch at Mega Potato Show. I need more followers on Twitch, everybody. Help me out. You can watch me, you can watch Gamora, my dog, play video games. She's the #1 pitbull on Twitch. I said it here. #1 rated pitbull on Twitch is Gamora.
I got the theme song.
Yay!
The more I look at that picture of me frowning, the more I go, this is the most appropriate image I've ever made.
Oh yeah, this is the best ever. That's me and you to a T right there. I think you could have made my biceps a little bigger, or at least like one side bigger, because the other side's broken. So at least like the left bicep could have been bigger and the right one's just like lumpy broken.
I figure while we're already at it, why don't we go and give someone in Artist Alley unsolicited art advice? That always works out well.
Good times.
Side of fucking fascist assholes. I'm not doing that. That's how I really feel. See, folks?
Shop SketchCraft.
Speaking of minority, speaking of minor, wonderful artists in the minority, Mark Martel can sing just like Freddie Mercury. How did I miss that? There's another Freddie Mercury out there who can sing amazingly, and I missed it.
Reincarnation.
Yeah. Well, he was alive when Freddie Mercury was alive, so that isn't it. Just,
Ah,
whatever. It was amazing. I'm gonna go listen to some Mark Martel songs.
do it.
And then I'm gonna go shop at
SketchCraft.com.